Hey guys, and welcome back today to another off-road adventure. Today I have headed back out into the Capertee Valley near Lithgow. Today I'll be checking out a few spots that I've had on my to-do list for a little while, starting off with the Turon National Park. Now for those of you guys who have been around for a little while will know that I did actually attempt to head down into the Turon National Park before the last time I was in this region, and it was actually closed. So with that being said, for this one, we'll be starting off down there in the Turon National Park, checking out a couple of campsites down in there, starting off with Woolshed Flat, which I've been told is really cool. So I'll be heading down there in a minute, and then after we're done here in the Turon National Park, I'll be heading up towards Mount Airlie ways and up around that region, hopefully ending up in Rylstone today. So really cool little adventure planned out for you guys. Anyway, let's get started by heading down into Woolshed Flat. Coming through on this road here, guys, the conditions are really kind of haphazard. They're all over the place. It's like some sections are really nice, and then you got other really rocky sections full of holes. So I can see why last time I came through here this road would have been closed, because after some significant wet weather this would almost be impossible to drive. So we've come across our first little obstacle on our adventure today. We're almost down at Woolshed Flat camping area here in the Turon National Park, and we have come across the Turon River. However, the only problem we have is that in order to get into Woolshed Flat we need to cross this river, and it is quite full. There's been a lot of rain recently, so just to play it safe I'm going to walk the river, make sure everything's all good before I cross it. Now, what an awesome little river crossing that was, but I did not really think that one through, and I'm telling you, I'm not having much luck with camera gear lately, guys. There you see it, Canon 70D, absolutely covered in water. It actually, a little bit of water rushed up onto the bank just here where I was, where it was sitting, and knocked it into the river. So, very unfortunate. I just hope that my lens is not broken. I do have another one of these cameras, thank God, but as long as the lens is fine, we should be able to carry on. Luckily enough, I was so quick in grabbing it. I hope it's not completely destroyed, but I guess we won't know until later. Well, here we are, guys, finally down here at Woolshed Flat. Now, it is pretty flat here, obviously going by the name. As you can see around behind me there, there's a whole lot of flat area here, and you see behind me over there, if you can see it, there's a lot of wildlife here, a lot of kangaroos in particular, which is pretty cool. The river is just down the back over there, so there's no riverside camping here from what I can see. In fact, there's not a lot of actual campsites right here down on the actual Woolshed Flat from what I can see. I'm just going to pull up here for a minute and just try and sort out this little camera problem that I had before. Hopefully I can just swap everything over into the other camera, and then after we're done here, we're going to be heading up and over to the Diggins campground, which is also here in the Turon National Park, which I've heard is pretty cool. Really rough conditions on the way in here, so if you guys are going to come here, I recommend four-wheel drive only, definitely, because you have to cross the river. I would say probably the same for the Diggins. Anyway, we'll see when we head up there. I am going to actually do a little showcase on all these campgrounds that I visit today and briefly run over. So if you guys want to see these places in a little bit more detail, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned to see when those videos are released. Anyway, let's see if we can't sort out this little issue that we have and then keep on going through. Alright, so the good news is, guys, that the SD card still works fine. I still have all the footage from the journey down here except the river crossing, so I didn't get to obviously stop the recording when the camera was knocked into the river. It obviously stopped by itself because it got wet and I lost that particular file, so that's disappointing. Anyway, I'll be sure to use the GoPro on the way back, so you guys can see that awesome little river crossing back there. I don't know how the other camera's going to go. I don't even think the lens is going to work because at the moment it's full of water. So for now I'll just have to use the GoPro, which thank goodness I have, and I'm super thankful now that I ended up buying two cameras when I went ahead and bought all my camera gear, because you know, look at it in here, everything in this little guy, you see the water spots on it, it's full of water, and so when I get home I'll probably have to clean all that out. Very unfortunate. I mean, stupid on my behalf. I should have been more careful with it, but I also didn't think that the water was going to go up that high. So those are the cards that we've been dealt. I have safe to say my luck with camera equipment lately has been terrible. First the drone and now this. Anyway, I'm sure everything will be alright, so we're going to keep going now. Well, there it was. That's the river crossing that claimed the camera. Wasn't waiting for anybody that time, I tell you. Alright, let's keep heading up towards the Diggins. Well, here we are. I've found myself walking another river crossing on the way to the Diggins campground. So it looks to be out here in the Turon National Park. You can't really go to any of the campgrounds without having to cross a river, which is alright, I guess. This one looks to be a little less deep than the other one, which is really good. The deeper for me is the more concerning. I don't like deep river crossings at all. So this one here, it's a lot longer, but should be a little bit of fun. Well, bugger, would you look at that? Another river crossing. Man, this place is full of rivers. Well, here we are down at the Diggins. We finally made it through here after, I think, 2 more river crossings. So Turon National Park has not disappointed with crossing the Turon River. We've done it, what, like 4 times in this little adventure, and Turon National Park is only the first stop on the list. So this campsite is really, really open. Just have a look at how open this is here. There's plenty of spots compared to Woolshed Flat. The thing that I forgot to mention about Woolshed Flat as well is I didn't see any toilets down there, but there may have been some way down in the back. Here they're right in the middle, which is good. Again, plenty of kangaroos around. There's heaps. And in this one, it looks like there are some nice camp spots right by the river here. So the amount of open space here could accommodate quite a large group. Same with Woolshed Flat back there. Although, again, I would only recommend four-wheel drive access only unless the river is low, because having to cross the river a few times, it's quite high at the moment. I had some water up over my bonnet, which I really don't like. It makes me very uneasy having water up there because I don't have a snorkel yet. Anyway, have a quick look around here, and then gonna head back up to Capertee, and then we're gonna go check out another spot that I've been looking at for a little while up in Mount Airlie. So here we are, guys, heading up towards Upper Turon Road again, heading over to Mount Airlie camping area. We've got to go back through Capertee now. It's important to mention for this one, I have never been to Mount Airlie before. I had never been down here in Turon National Park before, so all these places that I'm heading to today, I'm going into for the first time. I very well could have missed a few spots down there in Turon National Park. You could probably spend a few good days down in there fully exploring everything down there, and I'm sure it's going to be the same for Mount Airlie. Now, from Mount Airlie, I'm not really too sure where I want to go. I do want to end up in the Capertee National Park. I didn't even know until a couple of weeks ago that there was such thing as a Capertee National Park, so I'm really excited to go and check that out. And then I might head back down and check out Glen Davis, which I've been told is a really, really cool little spot. Anyway, so we're heading back up now onto Upper Turon Road, and then we'll be heading down into Mount Airlie. Well, here we are, guys, at Mount Airlie. Now, what a top little spot this is. It's just off the tarmac road and two-wheel drive access just off this dirt road here. You can get in here and the campground kind of swerves all the way back here into the bush. I've come all the way through to the end, and what a peaceful little spot. You can see just up behind me up there, you can see all the peaks and all that surrounding. As we know, this region has some really interesting looking mountain tops all around. Really cool little spot, and there's plenty of room for groups. There's one camp spot and there's more camp spots, and then this is the final camp spot here. The only thing I've noticed is there's no fire drums. They're all open fires on the ground in here, which is interesting. There's also a little hut here which I'll give you guys a look at on the way out, which is pretty cool. As I said before, I'd been wanting to come down into Mount Airlie for a while now. I don't really know what else is out here in terms of if there's any tracks or any other things to see in this little region. Although this was just a stop off on my way through to Glen Davis, so I'll be heading to Glen Davis now after this, and then after Glen Davis I'll be heading up into the Capertee National Park, and that is where we'll finish off our adventure. Anyway, give you guys a quick look around Mount Airlie camping area. So just here behind me is that cool little shack that I was telling you guys about on the way in. Just over there. Not going to go up to it or anything like that because it is on private property. So this side of the road is private property of Mount Airlie. So just on the other side of the road is the camping area. Anyway, so we're going to now move on and head over to Glen Davis. Well guys, here we are. Welcome down into Glen Davis. Now, I've never been down in here before, and this was not actually on my to-do list today, although I seen that I had to follow Glen Davis Road up into the Capertee National Park and thought, heck, I've never been here before, so why not come and check it out? So there's a few little abandoned buildings in the middle of the town. Apparently there is an actual mine here that is abandoned, however you can't go in there if you're caught trespassing in there. Apparently the fines are pretty massive. So I'm just here in the camping area. There's a shower toilet up the top there. I'd assume it's paid, and I'm pretty sure this whole little town is looked after by New South Wales National Parks, so therefore it's national park, so national park rules apply in here, I would assume. Just assuming though, I would say go and have a look at the National Parks website to confirm all of that. But there's a little community centre here and a whole bunch here. It's pretty peaceful. The campground is right in the middle of the town, so it's not what I would say the most secluded camping. However, the drive in here is absolutely amazing. Now, I thought the drive into Newnes was spectacular. The drive into Glen Davis is probably the best drive into a campsite I've ever had. I mean, the mountains just surround you everywhere. Actually, speaking of Newnes, just over the other side of these mountains is Newnes. So we're in that little area. Top little spot though. Anyway, we'll have a quick look around, and then I think I'm going to head up towards Capertee National Park like I was supposed to. So I decided to follow a little trail that went around the back of the town of Glen Davis. Ended up coming up here to have a look at the old shale work refinery that's around. And so I'm not too sure about actually going down in there. I'm pretty sure there's a little place just down in the town itself that does tours of the old works. However, I'm just heading up now to the lookout to actually have a look over it. So The town of Glen Davis was a shale refinery, pretty much. They hosted the main refinery here. So after they moved the old shale refinery from Newnes, which is just over the other side of these mountains here, to Glen Davis, you can also go through and have a look at the old shale refinery at Newnes if you ever go into the campground there. However, I've never seen the one here at Glen Davis, so I'm going to go up and have a look at it. So we're not actually at the lookout yet, but just down in there behind me you can see the old shale refinery. Times like this I really wish that I still had the drone. As you can see, there are actually people down in there. I'm not too sure what they're doing. They've got an excavator, so it looks like they might be doing some repairs of some sort. But that is really, really cool to look at down there. So that would have been a whole big operation at one point. Right, so I'm going to keep going up towards the top of the hill here to get a better view, but that is pretty cool down in there. Wow, so how cool is this actually? Instead of being able to have a better view, so to speak, of all of the ruins here at Glen Davis at the top of this lookout, there's actually a little bit of them here. Now, how cool is this? So this would have been the top of the facility up in here. I'm not actually too sure what it's like inside some of these buildings, not too sure how people go walking through them, but let's have a look in here. Not sure what this building would have been, but man, this is pretty awesome. Now of course guys, in the summertime, if you're going to come to places like this, please beware of snakes. They love this type of clutter everywhere. Thankfully it's winter, but I'm still looking around because that doesn't mean that there can't be one somewhere around here. Just give you guys a quick little look around of these ruins that are standing here now. So right in here behind me guys is the old shale mine here at Glen Davis. So just right down there is where from 1938 to 1952 they mined oil shale here, and the shale that they brought up here is what they used in the main refinery just down there over the hill, which you just saw. I mean, what a cool little place. I feel like I could do a whole video on this place in and of itself. It would be really cool to see what is down there in those old mine shafts, but when you think of it, they haven't been used for over 65 years, so I don't think it would be very stable. Big lock on the thing there, and without suitable safety equipment you could never get down there. So it's kind of a good thing that they did that to save people from actually going in there. But what a cool little place it is here. So I think I'm going to savour the rest for another video, and I'm going to come back and do a full video here on Glen Davis because there's just so much to show here. It's really crazy. What a great little spot Glen Davis was in there. Like I said before, I could do a whole video there, stay a whole weekend there just exploring that place. So now we're heading on to our final destination for today's little adventure, up into the Capertee National Park. Now, until a few weeks ago, I didn't even know that the Capertee National Park existed, and so it was pretty cool to find out that it did, and that there's a few little camping spots up in there. So we're going to go check that out. Thankfully for me, it forms a little bit of a loop out from Mudgee out to Capertee, and then from Capertee back up and into Rylstone, and then from Rylstone there's another road that you can take back into Mudgee. So it's almost like a full circle loop for me. It's a really cool little day adventure. Definitely recommend it if you guys are in the area. So far so good, it hasn't disappointed, although you do need a four-wheel drive for the Turon National Park. However, the rest of it, Mount Airlie and out here at Glen Davis, you can get in with any vehicle, no dramas. Anyway guys, I will see you guys when we get to the Capertee campground in the Capertee National Park. Alrighty, so we've gotten as far as we can into the Capertee National Park. So see over there is the sign, Capertee National Park. However, there is this huge locked gate right here in front of me, preventing me from entering. Now the gate is locked, like I just said, and this is the first time in any New South Wales National Park that I've been to that requires you to have your own code to even enter the national park. It's bizarre, it's beyond me. I've tried the combination that says there on the lock, and the lock just will not open. So unfortunate, a real kick in the guts, because today's been a really good day and I did not want to end this day or this video on a disappointment, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get any further into the Capertee National Park. Not going to let that disappoint me though, because today has been really good. Like I just said, we checked out some really awesome spots in the Turon National Park, as well as Glen Davis. That was a real highlight. So I'm sure I'll come back to the Capertee National Park at some stage once I actually realise what's going on and how to get in there. Anyway guys, if you want to see the campgrounds that I checked out today in a little bit more detail, I've done a few campground showcases on them, so make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with those. You'll find a little bit more information, see the places in a little bit more detail, because I've just briefly skimmed over them today. Anyway, if you like this one guys, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, tell me what you thought in the comments section below, and as always, we will see you in the next adventure.